bakal saya pergi nanti.
Iya, Prof. Ya, Prof.
Sekarang sih gampang ya, tidak perlu traveling, jadi bisa dari
Iya,
rumah
Prof.
aja.
Bener, Prof.
Jadi bisa banyak-banyak. Maksudnya bisa membantu. Maksud saya hanya sharing aja sih sebenarnya sharing. Jadi
Iya,
bisa sharing di beberapa tempat gitu. Kalau
iya, Prof.
kalau harus pergi kan tidak mungkin itu.
Iya, Prof. Karena
Ya, jadi lebih
satu
gampang.
badan tidak mungkin satu jadwal harus bersamaan pergi.
Tapi ada dampak positif dari COVID-19 ini kan?
Iya, iya, Prof. Jadi
Iya,
kita lebih memahami tentang penggunaan teknologi.
iya, iya, betul sekali.
Iya,
Kita bisa adaptif, itu yang
iya,
penting kan.
benar.
Biasanya adaptive skill kan tidak diajarkan, tapi sekarang
Iya,
kita
Prof.
terpaksa harus mengadaptasi dengan segala kondisi. Itu sebenarnya kalau di beberapa universitas yang saya tahu memang ada mata kuliah adaptive skill gitu.
Iya, Prof.
Jadi kita tidak punya mata kuliah itu, tapi kita lakukan sendiri dengan situasi ini gitu.
Iya, Prof.
Ya, bagus sekali.
Eh,
Sudah
kita
jam
bisa
9?
mulai ya?
Ya, kita
Iya,
mulai yuk.
ya,
Ya,
boleh.
kita mulai. Ya, sudah 132, luar biasa.
Ya, ya, ya. Well, good morning. First of all, let us pray and praise the Lord because of his bless and mercy, so we can gather together on this precious and valuable occasion, particularly on this webinar entitled Enhancing the Students' Language Skills through e-platform learning within COVID-19 situation. The Honorable Romo Max, as the Dean of Teachers Training and Education Faculty of Unika Santo Paulus Ruteng, the Honorable Brother Stanis, as the Head of English Study Program, the Honorable all the lecturers of English Study Program, the Honorable and the most sorry, my connection is bad. The Honorable Romo Max, as the Dean of Teachers Training and Education Faculty of Unika Sin Paulus Ruteng, the Honorable Brother Stanis, as the Head of English Study Program, the Honorable all the lecturers of English Study Program, the Honorable and the most awaited person of today's seminar, Prof. Dr. Anda Luh Putu Artini, MA, PhD, and Dr. Hieronymus Canggung Darong, SS, MPD. It is a valuable moment to invite both of you, Prof. Artini and Dr. Hieronymus, as the speakers and sharing us your research. And the last but not least, one that I love all the participants of this seminar. Welcome to this webinar. Before we come to the main agenda, It's exceptional if we begin this seminar or webinar by praying. I ask Ibu Eka to lead us in prayer.
Okay, now I will lead the prayer in Catholic. So let's bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us here today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another in this seminar. We are truly grateful for all the blessings you have given upon us. May you expand your divine wisdom to our speakers so that they would be able to impart effectively and give the knowledge to all of us here. Bless all the participants as well, so that they would be able to glean the vital information from this activity and spread what we have learned in the spirit of your love, and generosity. May we realize that the activity should glorify your name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Ibu Eka.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me read the rundown and the conduct rules of our webinar. Rundown: the first, opening session, which is opened by Romo Max, and the second, welcome remark by the head of English study program, which is represented by Ibu Heldi, and the third, the presentation of the first speaker, Prof. Artini, that is guided by Ibu Oce as the moderators of our webinar today. And the fourth, the presentation of the second speaker, Dr. Hieronymus. And the last, closing. Then conduct rules. The first, the audience are not allowed to unmute the audio during the speakers are presenting the materials. Second, the audience are allowed to speak only on the discussion sessions, or you can leave the questions on the chat box. The third and the last, the attendance list will be shared or given at the end of the webinar. In order to shorten the time, I ask Romo Max to open the seminar. Romo, take the time.
Thank you, Ibu Olga. Good morning and greetings to you all. It gives me immense warmth and great pleasure to face all of your presence in this seminar. It also gives me tremendous contentment to be presenting this opening speech amongst our presenters today and all of you audience, students, academic staff, administrative staff at this English program at our faculty. And today's seminar aims to share all our good ideas about improving students' language skills under this dark side of the pandemic COVID-19. And based on all the good presentation during the seminar today, I am convinced at the end, we will go home with plenty of inspiration. Besides gaining insight and information from our presentation that would remain effective in our activities, I also hope this seminar will help us, especially our students, connect knowledge and understanding to develop your language skills, and you can take it in the development of your capacity and skill. And personal development is an investment for you, and that helps to improve your knowledge, skill, attitude towards your life. And personal development allows individuals to build your skills, set goals, work on the approach, believe on your potential, and improve your awareness. I also hope through this seminar, each of you, mainly the students, is given the platform to identify vulnerable spots during this pandemic time, and then again understanding, focus on essential aspects, improve your quality, attitude, and confidence, and provide practical communication skill as well as the frequent change needed in your lifestyles as a student here in our university and faculty. Before we begin this seminar, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who sincerely committed to this event to make it a success. This event would have been impossible without the support of each and everyone present here. Especially, I'd like to thank our presenters today. First, Professor Artini from Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha Bali. Thank you, Professor, for allocating this time to join us in the seminar and sharing your knowledge for our students. And secondly, Dr. Hieronymus Darong, our lecturer here. Thank you also for giving your presentation in the seminar, and thanks to the organizer of this seminar. I am sure the seminar will be profitable and fruitful for everyone. And I officially open this seminar. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Romo Max. Thank a lot for the quick opening speech. And the second, the speech from the head of English study program, which is represented by Ibu Heldi. Ibu Heldi, time is yours.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ibu Olga. Good morning for all of us here, particularly for the Honorable Dean of Teachers Training and Education Faculty, Dr. Maximus Regus, Honorable Professor Dr. Andaluh Putu Artini, MA, PhD, and also Dr. Hieronymus Cangkung Darong, SS, MPD, and also respectable all participants, lecturers, teachers, and students. Once again, good morning. I'm really sorry I'm here to represent.
Good morning, Mom.
Of English language study program, Stanis, who cannot join us today. First of all, let me thank each and every one of you for being here today in this webinar. It is such an honor for me to speak on our English language study program and to send to you all a warm welcome to this great webinar, enhancing the students' language skill through its platform within COVID-19 pandemic. We also really appreciate the committee of this webinar, Ibu Olga Jelimun, MPD, Ibu Yulian Julita Ekalia, MPD, and Ibu Yuliana Endu, who generously prepared all the things for this webinar today. Beloved participants, teachers, lecturers, and students, the image of COVID-19 has affected all sectors of human life, including education sectors in Indonesia, particularly in our beloved Manggarai also. This pandemic forces the Indonesian government to reconstruct the education system from in-person class to online class. Teachers, lecturers, students, and parents are facing many challenges as a result of this. A study from Smeru reported that the first 5 months of home-based learning captures variations in the learning of Indonesian students. Unequal access to facilities and infrastructures, differences in remote teaching abilities, the type and the location of the schools, as well as the students' environment at home contribute to success of online learning. In addition, the teachers have to deal with any kinds of e-platform which maybe are still unfamiliar with them. They need to be guided and learn how to operate those kind of e-platforms. Us as the students also face their own problems where they have no smartphones that could help them to finish their school's assignment or in joining the class online. Both teachers and students need to enlarge their knowledge on what to do during this pandemic until the schools are fully reopened. Therefore, in today's webinar, we hope that this can enrich our knowledge on how we can still learn better and introduce with kinds of e-platform of online learning. And finally, our dear participants, lecturers, teachers, and students, once more, on behalf of English Education Program and the committee, I say welcome to all of us and let us join this webinar. And it is a pleasure to see many of you right here now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Heldi, for the great welcoming remark. And now we come to our main agenda. Welcome to the first speaker, Prof. Artini. And for this, I give the whole time to Ibu Oce to handle the webinar. Ibu Oce, please take the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Elga. Thank you for letting me handle this session. Joining us today, I'm Yosefina Helenora Jem from Universitas Katolik Indonesia Santo Paulus Ruteng. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today, our two outstanding speakers, Professor Dr. Randa Luhputu Artini, MA PhD, and also Dr. Hieronymus C. Darong, SS MPD. Good morning, Prof. Artini.
Good morning.
Okay, nice to meet Prof.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everyone.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have and meet you in this webinar, Prof. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we start the seminar, I would like to introduce you our honorable speakers, Prof. Artini. Prof. Artini was born in Denpasar, 14 July 1964. She finished her S1 from FKIP Universitas Udayana in 1982 until 1986. She got her master's degree in Applied Linguistics from La Trobe University, Australia in 1992 until 1994. And her PhD from Newcastle University, Australia, 2002 until 2006. Her interest is in English pedagogy, including curriculum, methodology, strategy, and material development. She has attended non-degree training in children's literacy at Indiana University in 2010 and on bilingual education at Leuven Education College, Belgium, 2012. Since 1989, she has devoted herself to her alma mater, namely the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Udayana University, which is now known as Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. She has already written numbers of outstanding research and published them in numbers of indexes, international and national journals. So, right now, I proudly would like to give the floor to our professor to present the material. Prof, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Miss Yosefina. Yeah, thank you for the nice introduction. And thank you for Universitas Katolik Santo Paulus for inviting me. And also, of course, thank you so much for the Dean, Romo Max. Thank you for having me. And it's very nice to see everyone here. And it's so good to know a big number of audience, yeah, coming for this webinar. I have thank you for giving me the first opportunity here. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, based on the request from the committee that I have to speak about something to do with enhancing the language skill during the COVID-19 pandemic. And my title of my presentation today is dealing with reading and writing in online EFL classes. So I'm going to start with the outline. I'm going to start with the 21st century learning. this is very, very contextual. When we talk about the teaching of English, we have to relate that to the current situation in which we are in the 21st century, which has very, I have to say that we have the special characteristic of learning in this century. And we are going to look at the global competencies. Why I have to go to global competencies? Because we are talking about English language teaching. And you are going to see what is the role of English in the global competencies. And then we are going to go on the importance of English and then current teaching and learning situations. And we are going to go on to the importance of improving reading and writing. And then finally, we are going to look at many different strategies for teaching reading and writing online. Yeah, this is the rationale. Yeah, English is very important. Everybody will not deny that. Nobody will deny that English is very important. We know that we are in the globalization era. We know that everything has been, the world is getting narrowed down, yeah, getting smaller, because we can just, when we are here, we can just talk to somebody at the edge of the world, yeah, because we can, this is like an analogy that the world is small, getting smaller and smaller. And with the technology, you can hear right now, you can be in Paris right now, you can be maybe in California right now. So that's why English is very, very important to connect you to the world. And these are the stages of English in the 21st century. Yeah, English is one of the global competencies. Yeah, and
Hello?
English is a career path. English is a career path for everyone in Indonesia or in countries where English is not the national language. And English is an additional language for everyone in the world. Yeah, you can check the internet and how amazing that billions of people learning English at the moment in the world. And based on research, English is the power to succeed. So it has power to succeed. And English is a life skill. And English is an important language for education. Yeah. Okay, we go to the 4 pillars of education because we are going to relate this to the strategies later. You know that UNESCO has postulated the 4 pillars of education. The first one is that learning should be for the learners to know, and learning is for the learners to do, and learning is for the learners to be, and learning is for the learners to live together. How is it to do with the learning of English? So when you teach English, if you are teachers here, and if you are students here, yeah, means that when you are a teacher, when you are an educator, when you are an English instructor, you have to make sure that one of the goals of teaching English is that the students should know something new for them. So to know something new, they know, for example, the rules, the grammatical rules, yeah, grammatical rules, and they know that the vocabulary, they know the comparisons, yeah, the differences between their target, the national language with the foreign language. They know also the usage, the use, and then learning to do. As an instructor, you have to also not only making your student know something about English, but they have to be able to use the language. So they have to have the skills. They have to be confident user of English. They have to be able to use the language in different contexts. And they also have to be a very good communicator in the language. So that's what is covered in learning to do. And then learning to be is to make somebody to become somebody, yeah, to make your learners to become somebody who has the existence, yeah, existency in the world as somebody who can be trusted, who can be reliable, yeah, who can be considered as somebody who can be talked to, can be turned to, and then also have a career in life. That's learning to be, yeah, and also part of the community. And learning to live together is you have to make sure that your learners is very compatible with with the different group of society. Okay, a bit of a noise. So to live together, here learning to live together is also to do with compatibility with the community, being able to be part of the community, being able to contribute to the community, share to the community, and become the the harmonious part of the community. So these are things that become the basis for us when we talk about strategies later on. So as the instructors, you have to guide the student to achieve this, yeah, to achieve English for them to know, English for them to be able to use, English for them to become someone, English for them to become someone that become part of the harmonious society. And one thing added up here, because that will be also part of the teaching of English later, yeah, in choosing the topic, that we also have to emphasize that learners should be able to live sustainably. Yeah, to live sustainably means sustainability is very important. They have also to understand that they have to care about the nature, they have to care about the environment, they have to care about the people around them. So that's about the sustainability. Let's look at the 21st century, first of all. Where are English, yeah? So here, in this, the 21st century learning and global competence, yeah, we can see that in the 21st century, everybody should have life and career skills. They have to have life and career skills. So the teaching, whatever in school, should be guided or directed toward the achievement of life and career skill. English is, as I mentioned before, English is a life skill. So English is also a career skill, because I said before, English, the stages of English, one is also as the career path. Yeah, this is a pathway to get a good career in life. So life and career skills become one of the 21st century learning. And then also, we also need to know in the 21st century learning, whatever you teach in the classroom should improve the student learning skills and innovation skill. Innovation skill is very important nowadays. And you have to understand also, you have to make sure that your student understand that for a successful life, in addition to be successful with their academic life, they also have to be successful in the soft skill, including the innovation skills. And the learning skill, everybody are very aware of the learning skills of the 4C. The 4C, everybody know that we have to influence the learners Yeah, whatever we teach inside of the classroom, we also have the side effect to students to become creative, yeah, to become critical, to become collaborative individual, and also to become communicative individual. So that's part of the learning that not exactly stated or explicitly stated in the curriculum, because we are in the era of the 21st century, you have to make sure that that also grow in your classroom. The skills growing, and then also the innovation skills growing, in addition to the to know, to do and to be and to live together with their English. And we can see here also what is needed in the 21st century learning is the skill of information media technology skills. Information media and technology skills are badly needed in the era of massive change, with a massive change. Everything changed so rapidly in the world, and we have to give the student tools to cope with the changes. And the tools are technology. So when you give them technology, they will be able to survive in the rapid change in the world. Okay, so to achieve all those, you have to give them the core subject of the 21st century themes. So what are the core subject here? These are the core subject. Look, English is number one. You can see English is number one. It's so important. It's a core subject all around the world. Yeah. So English is the top one. And then the next one, reading or language arts. So reading is very important. That's why I take reading today as my presentation, as the topic of my presentation. Reading. And you know PISA test? Yeah, everybody already familiar with the PISA test. This is a test for checking how ready the world young generation to face the world. How ready they are to face the world. How ready they are to face the future. And then there is a test. I'm sorry for the noise. Can please, for those who not unmuted yet, please unmute your microphone, please. Okay. Once again, PISA test is a test, yeah?
Hello?
Can you hear me, everyone? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I just go on, yeah? Let me continue. There is a hand raise. Okay, I just go on. Yeah. The core subject, once again, English and reading, that's part of the PISA test, yeah, in which the PISA test have the purpose to assess or to evaluate how ready the young generation of the Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, once again, so that's very important, English and reading and arts, yeah. And arts is to balance the left and then the right hemispheres. And then economics is something it's also one of the core subjects, geography, and then also government and civics, world languages, math, science, and history. So my point here is to show you the position of English as the core subject in the 21st century. Yeah, and these are the 21st century themes. Yeah, the themes are global awareness, environmental literacy, financial literacy, civic literacy, health literacy. We are not going to cover this, but every country have been trying to put that into the curriculum, whether it is explicitly or implied in the curriculum. Yeah. Okay. So, what are we going to do with the teaching of English? Yeah, in teaching in the 21st century learning, we have to make sure that the student will be guided to develop the ability to think. Yeah, ability. So it's not only to know, remember that they have to be able to think more creatively, innovatively. So we are now encountered by a challenge how to make our student creative, innovative. Creativity, innovatively, yeah, creativity and innovations. How do we know that our student innovative? So you have to be able to also look at the indicators for creativity, because creativity is when the student can, for example, use, or in other words, you can actually use or maybe modify, yeah, or create something new. So use something that they never used before, or they had seen this before, but they modify to make it new, or they create something new. That's creative, yeah. And then also innovative. They try something new. They want to learn more. They want to learn something new, and then they produce something new, or they want to maybe, for example, when you give them project to do, they are being very concerned about presenting the best with the new approach, with the new materials, with the new knowledge. Yeah, that's innovations. Yeah. And we also have to guide the students to find, okay, this is for teachers, sorry. Teachers should find new method, approach, strategies, and teaching techniques so that the student can learn effectively and develop their 21st century learning skills. And then also the 21st century learning is a form of learning that requires students to master content. They know the content, and then being able to produce, synthesize, evaluate information from a wide range of resources. So later, when you teach English, you have to make sure that you provide the students with a wide range of resources and motivate them to explore. Yeah, give them opportunity to explore in whatever task that you design in your English classes. It should be also involve the student engaged in technology, engaged in the different source of informations. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that the effect on language learning that the teacher have to rethink priorities and means of delivery. Yeah, everybody probably have that already something in mind about priorities. Why? Because when you are online, yeah, when you use one of the e-platforms, you should also consider how many students actually can be comfortable with the e-platform that you choose, how many of them have problem with it, and then also how long will you be online? Are you going to be online in your schedule times every week. So you have to think about priorities. Priorities means that you prioritize the activity that you are going to do online, because it's going to be not as long as when you have your normal face-to-face classes. And you also have to consider the means of delivery. The means of delivery, if you, for example, choose to use Zoom, Zoom, you have to make sure that you are very considerate about the student who probably have problem with Zoom. So in addition to have Zoom, how can you make the material delivered to every student, because all of the students have the rights to get everything that everybody gets. Yeah. And then teachers do not interact directly with language learners. This is also the fact in COVID-19. And we know that language is a medium of instructions. The medium of instruction need interactions, interaction that encourage students to use the language. Now that we can interact face-to-face directly with our students, this is also something that the teachers should have in mind. And then teachers need to organize shorter time online and bring big impact. Shorter time online, but big impact. Why we have to think about big impact? Because we are going to assign the student to work independently. So how can you, in a short time online, can influence the learners to work on their own, to learn on their own, to develop their English on their own, and also to explore the resources on their own. So this is also something that needs to be considered when you're online, what you have to say, what you have to guide the student to, you guide the student to do work, you guide the student to explore references, you guide the student to explore resources, for example. So what are you going to do in a short time online? That's also something that you have to do during COVID-19 pandemic. And teachers should cover the 4 language skills. Yeah, this is also the challenge. Yeah, the language skill need practice, a lot of practice, and practice should involve interactions. And now with the abrupt change of the medium of learning, in which everybody learn remotely from different places, then you have also to have a decisions about how you will teach them the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And teachers should anticipate learners who have limited access to technology. This is also something which is a problem for everybody everywhere in the world. Yeah, I've been in a forum, Asia Pacific Forum, just very recently, and we share from different countries about the hindrances that we have as English educators, and all of them have problems. Even in rich country like Brunei, even in rich country like Singapore, yeah, they still have problem with the student who are disadvantaged by the situation because they have problem with internet access. Now, e-learning in Java is one of the, every university developed this. Yeah, every university had e-learning systems through learning management system. And this is very important that you already have the material ready, because as I said before, we have very limited time online, and we have to support the limited time online for a big impact by providing them with material in your e-learning. So the use of e-learning grow very fast recently as the effect or as the result of COVID. Yeah, this is amazing. This is very, very amazing that there are so many e-learning systems growing nowadays. E-learning is effective and flexible to facilitate EFL learning interaction by eliminating time and locations problem. Yeah, and then learners need to be creative. Need creative and innovative interventions. I have to explain about what is meant by interventions. Yeah, one of the roles of educators nowadays is to do an intervention to student learners, to students learning. I mean, when dealing with students, we know that every students actually have their own potencies, their own interest. Yeah, they have their own facilities. They can learn on their own. They free to learn. They have freedom to learn. But because they learn in a formal education institutions, we have to have a very clear curriculum. So curriculum is the guideline for the teacher to do formal intervention to the students. So what I mean by innovative intervention here is that the kind of innovations in facilitation or facilitating students to learn. You guide them, you direct them, you supervise them so that they learn in the predetermined track. So we have the track. The track is the curriculum. So that's the intervention. So they are not free in a way that they want to learn anything they want. Yes, they can learn anything they want, but still you have to direct them to achieve the expectation of the curriculum. So this is what the innovative interventions mean. So when we teach online during COVID-19, you are challenged to be creative and innovative in designing tasks for them to do so that they can make use their freedom. Yeah, they have freedom, but at the same time, they also achieve the curriculum. So this is the challenge. How can we design activities for the student or task for the student which meet the requirement of the curriculum, but also at the same time give the student freedom to learn. So this is the challenge. And then the intervention should encourage students to use the language. So this is the intervention means what tasks will you give them? What assignment will you give them? What activity will you give them? Yeah. And then what kind of assessment that you will design for them? That's the intervention. So that they still work toward the achievement of the goal of the curriculum. Yeah, so this is the EFL instruction. Yeah, instruction. Now, with the COVID-19, with the remote learning mode or with the online learning that we have now, this is what you have to think about as an instructor, as a teacher. Yeah. First of all, you have to have a practical plan. You have to plan the time. Yeah, you have to plan the material. You have to plan the achievement. I mean the efforts to achieve the curriculum expectations. Practical plan is a plan in which it's very easy for you to look at. It's very easy for you to follow. It's very easy to detect. It's very easy for you to assess. Yeah, it's very practical. So the practical plan is whenever for overall, you know how many minutes you're going to be online. And what are you going to do in that amount of time? Say, for example, you're online for 1 hour. What are you going to do in the first 10 minutes? What are you going to do in the second 15 minutes? And then after that, what are you going to assign the student to do in addition to meeting them online? That's a practical plan. And as I mentioned before, you have to first, in one way, you have to go with the track, on the right track to achieve the curriculum expectation. On the other way, you have to give the student also to be free to explore the resources that they like, but they still need to work on the curriculum. So for that reason, it is preferable to use authentic materials. You may also supplement the student with the self-designed materials to help them, for example, to focus on the concept. So for teaching them the concept before they go with your freedom, you need to self-design material. For example, you have the PowerPoint to discuss about, for example, you teach descriptive text. They need to know what descriptive text, so you give them the step-by-step activity, and then you need self-design material for them to get the concept. And then after that, you can give them the opportunity to explore the resources that they like to do their task. And then you need also to use effective media for them to understand the concept or to give them example. And effective media, we have to thank technology for this. There are, so many resources that you can look at to find effective media. It's very easy to find pictures. You can very easily to find videos, to find, for example, a short movie, animations, or whatever, you can name it. You can find it very easily that is suitable to the purpose of your teaching. And you need to make sure that it's a fun learning. Fun learning online and fun learning with face-to-face probably have a different characteristic. With fun learning, with face-to-face interactions in a normal class, you might design a game for them, and they can move, they can run around, they can involve physical activities. But with online learning, you are very limited in terms of decision about what activities to use to be fun. So, for example, you can't really involve them with the physical activities, but you can make learning fun by giving them, by assigning them to do tasks that they enjoy, when they finalizing the task. So they go through a process in which it's so fun, say for example, you want them to do a research because you teach them about simple past tense, for example. And then you have to do research. You ask the student to do research by interviewing their parents. Interviewing their parents. Misalnya mereka akan bertanya, I use in bahasa Indonesia. Nanya mamanya, Ma, umur berapa saya mulai bisa ngomong? Umur berapa saya mulai bisa jalan? So that question will become part of the assignment that they have to do to show that they know how to use simple past tense. And then they have to make a poster. They have to make a poster with the pictures. Their pictures. The pictures when they're baby, and then with subtitle. I was, say, 6 months when I started to stand up. When I stood up the first time, I was 9 months when I spoke the first time. I spoke the first time when I was Malaya. So I was 12 months when I could run. Yeah. So that's an example. and then you can have the exhibitions. Yeah, you can have the exhibition of the poster. So that's an example of activity. So it's fun for them to do the work because it's not very, I have to say, it's not boring because they have to interview their maybe parents, they have to do all other things that they can do by interacting with the people or with their family. And engaging activities is just related to fun activities. I just mentioned the example. And then engaging activities, when they do activities like that, like making a poster, making virtual exhibitions, yeah, about their childhood, for example, then it's engaging. Engaging means that there is a feeling, yeah, there is a voluntarily willing to participate. There is no feeling of being pushed to do that, but there is a feeling that they want to do it. They do it because they want to do it. Yeah, they do it because they want it, and there is no intimidation or whatsoever. Yeah, but this is really the intrinsic motivation that make them do it. So that's engaging. And multifaceted interactions. This is also because language need interactions, you can put them into groups. Yeah, they work into group, and they can, for example, have the WhatsApp video, yeah, WhatsApp video conference, using WhatsApp to discuss. Yeah, this also will make them hello, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Prof.
Okay, did you hear me before?
A little bit.
Oh no, I don't know because I was not unmute, but I got the message that I had to unmute myself. But in fact, I'm not mute. Yeah, okay. I hope that everybody can listen to me. Is it clear?
Yeah,
Can you hear me clearly now?
Prof.
Yeah, Prof. Yeah, Prof.
Okay. So how long that you didn't hear me clearly?
Few seconds.
Like how many?
Yeah, few seconds. Yeah, few seconds.
Pardon? What did you say, Maria?
Few seconds, just few seconds, Prof. Just few seconds.
Few seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So these are the consideration for the language skill, whatever language skill. Yeah. Once again, practical plan. Always have a very practical plan. Yeah. Take a note. And then also authentic material that also involves self-design for the concept. If you teach them concept, you have a self-design, and then after that, you give them authentic materials, effective media, very, very easily to be found, engaging activities, interaction, good classroom management. So even though we don't meet our student in person, we have to manage. What I mean by classroom management here, you have a very clear and neat step-by-step. And you are very considerate about the situation so that you make a decision of what should be started with. So how do you start? Yeah, how do you start? What do you start with? That's a management, yeah. And then later, what do you do? For how long? That's management. Yeah, so we are not doing a physical management. It's to do with the arrangement of your materials, arrangement of step by step, and the arrangements between segment. Yeah, it's a very clear, from segment to segment. And relevant assessment. Yeah, assessment still need to go on. How do you assess online? I mean, how do you assess when you have to teach online? Yeah, you still need to assess. Yeah, assessment could occur during the process. Yeah, and also could occur as the assessment of the product. Yeah, could occur also as the assessment of the characters. So how do you do that? Yeah, you can assessment. For assessment, you have a very one of them that is very recommended is that for the student to have the e-portfolio. So e-portfolio will make the student very enthusiastic because they have to have a collection of work they do, yeah, in such a way so that it's very good to see. Yeah, they like to see it. They are very motivated to decorate that. And it's very easy to be reviewed anytime. Yeah, and for the student also to look at from the e-portfolio, the instructor or the English teacher or the lecturer can look at the student effort. So the effort can be seen there. How much effort that the student do? You can assess their characters, how innovative they are, how creative they are. That can be the representative of the character. You can see the characters there, and then you can see also how well they can achieve. So you can see there the formative, yeah, and also you can see the summative assessment. You can see that from the portfolio, or maybe you can just have the from every assignment. Yeah, you can also have the self-assessment for the student. Yeah, they have to assess, and then after that they assess their friends. Yeah, especially we are talking about reading and writing. I'm going to be more specific here later. Yeah, but for overall for whatever skills, you need also to think about the relevant assessment. Make sure that the student know that they are being assessed. They need to know their progress. The student are very concerned about their progress. Make sure that the student also know that you pay attention to their learning. Yeah, assessment is to show that you pay attention to their learning. And to do that, you can make them have the journals, yeah. At least they have the journals of saying every time they have a task, they have to write in the journal, yeah. So task 1, what is it about? Yeah, what they do and what they learn from that, how they feel about that. Yeah, how they feel about that. If they have a journal like that, they will do every task because they have to write down in the journals. So what's the date? What are the tasks? Yeah, and then after the task, what they do in the task, and what they feel they learn from the task, what they think about their task, their feeling about the task. That's the journal that should be developed in one semester. Okay, so this is from the learner side. Yeah, the learner side. That's from the instructor side, or from the teachers, or from the lecturer side. This is from the student side. the students should be exposed to do something, yeah, continuously. This is about skill. Yeah? We're talking about skills. Continuously, it doesn't matter whether it's just a small things, but it should be continuous. Yeah, so there is a constant usage. Yeah, and students also may extend their learning by watching films, reading books, yeah, by playing games, trying to use new words, by practice. And these are the, you can do the intervention. For example, like this, what I mean by intervention once again. The student like to watch films or movies. How can you design a task that make them enjoy movie and at the same time to do the task? So they do, that's what I mean by fun. But at the same time, they do the task. So because the student like doing this usually, yeah, reading books with high level of grammar. I mean, what high level of grammar mean? They read book, but the intervention is that you want them to pay attention on the grammatical rules used in the books. Or maybe by playing games, they can use the technology or IT-based games, yeah. Then you do an intervention with what should they do so that they develop their language skills, and also to use new words and by practice and so forth. Yeah, this is the teaching of English language before pandemic and during pandemic, and then we are going to think about later about the strategy, because this is the situations. Before, we don't have any problem with before because we get used to teach in front of the classroom with the attendance of the students. We can manage the student to work in group. We can manage the student to work face-to-face with a partner, or we can manage the student to mingle in the classroom, stand up and walk around the classroom. Yeah, and it's easy to engage the student physically before the pandemic, and teachers' facilitation to the student to practice the full skills is easy. And then variation of activities and promote development of variation of learning strategies. Plan, executed, assess, very neat, yeah, easy and predictable, yeah, very predictable. I mean, what is your plan? And then you executed the plan, and then you assess the plan. And then longer time allocation for teacher-student interaction. But during the pandemic, you will need to have virtual classes, remote learning, online learning, and very limited engagement. Yeah, limited engagement opportunity when you are online. And then teachers provide tasks for independent learning. So this is the challenge. What are the tasks that you have to design for the student to make sure that they learn? And limited variation of activities. Limited variation of activities here. Limited variation for the activities with the attendance of the lecturers or the attendance of the teacher or the instructors. Planned and mostly independent learning materials. So planned and mostly independent. Yeah, okay, I can see the next. Okay, now we go on to reading. Reading and writing in Java. This is the points, yeah. Our focus today is reading and writing, and the reasons why reading, you know that reading is part of the global competencies, and then English is part of the global competencies. Ability to read and write is the basis for literacy. If we talk about literacy, whatever literacy we are talking about, the basis is on reading and writing. Yeah, so you're reading and writing. The stronger you're reading and writing, the stronger your literacy, the more likely you will be successful in confronting the world. Because, I mean, the more ready you are in confronting the world. So reading and writing, the similarity between the two, Yeah, they are very connected, very, very connected between reading and writing. Both of them are about meaning and ideas. Both of them need an organization, and both of them need strategies. So you have to develop strategies for reading, and you need to develop strategies for writing. And then also it needs to have the background, vocabulary, and grammar. Yeah, ability to understand the reading text depend on how rich your vocabulary, how well your grammatical knowledge. Yeah, and also your ability to write is very much dependent upon how rich your vocabulary and how well your grammatical competence. Yeah, and ability to read well. A good reader will have a very good strategy. They have good strategies. And a good writer also should have good strategies. Good reader have a very good way to organize organizations of ideas. And good writer have a good organization of their writing. So they are very similar in many ways. For that reason, there is a very big connection between reading and writing. Okay, in reading, now we talk about the differences. Yeah, the differences. In reading, the reading is about decoding. Reading is about when you read, you actually have the stream of knowledge, stream of ideas, stream of vocabulary, everything just going into your brain, and your brain decode that. Your brain is analyze that, and then your brain is put that into meaning. And reading activity that also a process of being able to get the idea very quickly. This is to do with fluency of reading. So fluency is not only about speaking. Reading also needs fluency in reading. So fluency in reading, you don't take too much time to read and understand. Maybe you can take short time to read, but you need longer time to understand. But here you have short time to read, short time to understand. So this is about fluency, and reading will make the student learn vocabulary, yeah, and then sentence construction and cohesion. This is from reading. The student actually learn a lot from this. And then reasoning and background knowledge and working memory and attention. But in writing, because this is about productive skill in which the students should do an active act. Yeah, reading is sometimes considered to be a passive activity. It is not actually passive, because your brain is very active because when you do reading, your brain is going to be very active. But in writing, it is not only your brain, but physically you have to be also very active in outlining, in drafting, in proofreading, in revising, and finalizing. Yeah, and both of them text. Yeah, so reading is a text, writing is finally as a text. Yeah. Now, reading and writing relationship. What are the relationship with reading and writing? Yeah. Voracious readers will most likely lead to great writers. When you read a lot, as I said before, you will have a better ability to write. Good reader tend most likely to become good writer as well. Yeah, confident reader will also be confident writer. Yeah, maybe not really, because everybody have the interest. Maybe the writing here is based on everybody's interest, which is different. Maybe some people are very good at writing literary work like poems, yeah, short stories. The others are very good at writing something more academic, yeah, or maybe write say, for example, something in their blog. Yeah. So good reader will be related to good writer. And readers will have rich vocabulary. Yeah. Very rich vocabulary. And they build the grammatical competence. And they learn writing style. They probably not realizing that, but they actually build their styles. Yeah, their style for writing. They read a lot, then automatically the style of writing will be, will become the permanent possession of the learners or of the reader. And strong language intuitions. If you read a lot, you have a strong intuition. You have the feeling with you. If you read somebody's work, you say, "Wow, this doesn't sound right. Yeah, there must be something wrong with this. Yeah, there must be something not quite right," because you have the intuitions. This is the result of your reading, and then develop your writing fluency. Yeah, and both reading and writing need lot of practices, and both reading and writing will become the basis of your literacy. Yeah, literacy is very important nowadays. Yeah, with literacy, it is not about reading and writing, but it is also about ability to process the information, ability to use the information, ability to share the information, ability to communicate the information, and then also become critical about informations, develop the thinking ability. If you have a literacy, high literacy level, it means that you have all the thinking skills. Yeah, you can think very quick. You can think objectively very quick. You can think logically very quick. You can think creatively very quick. You can think critically very quick. So that's the literacy. Yeah. If you have the reading habit, you will have a good literacy level. So this is the reasons why literacy become a very important component that become the responsibility of the government. The government have to do something to improve the literacy skill of the of the young generations, and reading and writing are the basis. Yeah. Now, let's talk about reading. We start with the reading. Reading, there are two reading. You know that there are two types of reading: intensive reading and extensive reading. What is the intensive reading? Intensive reading is in the classroom, or intensive reading is in under the plan of the teacher. So this is under the plan, as part of the plan, because it has a very clear goal of learning, and it is directed toward the achievement of a particular objective from the curriculum. So that intensive reading, and the teaching of specific skills. So intensive reading is the teaching of specific skills. Yeah, this is to do with teaching. And intensive reading is the teaching of language. Intensive reading is the target for the achievement of the curriculum. And intensive reading involves teacher-student interactions and carefully designed tasks and include assessment. So most of the time, so far, when we teach student reading, actually we are doing intensive reading because we have the agenda behind. Our agenda is for the student to master the language, particular language components probably, or particular specific skills and so forth. Yeah, and then teaching reading online. If we teach reading online, actually we are doing intensive reading that require you as a teacher to have strategy, introduce different genre, yeah, when we teach, and then understand the generic structure, for example, yeah, this is teaching reading, and then teach the strategies for reading and teach the skills. And reading comprehensions component, because when we teach reading, one of the intensive reading purpose, yeah, the objective of intensive reading is for the student to build their reading comprehension skills. Yeah, the reading comprehension skill, because intensive reading is to do with reading comprehension skills. So these are the components: ability to identify main idea, ability to sequence a passage into an ordinal series, ability to answer direct recall questions, ability to make inferences of prediction, and ability to identify unfamiliar vocabulary. So I just want you to understand that intensive reading is reading lesson. Yeah, reading lesson is an intensive reading because it has very specific objective and also have the components. Yeah. And strategies for intensive reading, I have a video, but I don't think we can watch this video, but you can watch that later on your own. And the reading task, what reading task can you give for intensive reading online? You can discuss the skill online. Yeah, you can have the activity online, but then outside of the class, you can ask them to rewrite, yeah, from a perspective, for example, to make it more challenging. Yeah, for example, they have a reading on, say, for example, they read about, yeah, the history of McDonald's, for example, yeah, because this is about the it's about well, this is one of the recount history, yeah. So you talk about history of McDonald's. Now rewriting, yeah, rewriting here. It's writing mean it could be just rewrite. You limit, yeah. When it is in a 1,000 words, the original text, you can ask them to write it in 100 words. Yeah, it is like a summarizing, but rewriting from a perspective, it means that you rewrite the text, but please pretend to be a reporter, and you write a script for you to report. So from this reading text, you write a report, rewrite this text in a form of a report that you are going to use, yeah, in your report later on, yeah, for example, yeah. And then reporting is another things, yeah, reporting of what they read already, or like what I said before, it can be by, looking at the, after reading a text and then they have to report, or you, for teaching narrative, for example, you want them to read different story, yeah, with similar, say for example, with similar theme, yeah, similar theme. For example, you want to talk about stepmother, yeah. In a story, stepmother is usually described as a mean, yeah, and then also wicked, yeah, and also cruel, yeah. Now find stories with the character of stepmother, yeah. Find at least 3 stories and report, yeah. Make a report about the characters of the stepmother in the story, yeah. That's a report. So they can expand, they can search, they can explore. Summarizing is very common, yeah. And then answering comprehension questions is very common, but you can extend with answering extended questions. Extended questions are questions that are not in the text, but related to the text. Yeah, related to the text. This will require the students to have their critical thinking. That will require the students to have their creativity. And then also answering hypothetical questions. Yeah, if you were for example, it's a story about, say the story is about Cinderella. And if say, if you were the real Cinderella, yeah, what would you do with your stepsisters, for example? Yeah, that's hypothetical questions. And reading journal, stop at group reading. Yeah, you can have a number of resources, one resource in one person, and then they have to go to another person in a group. And then after that, they will have the task together. And then also and other things. Yeah. So I can give the later this PowerPoint because we run out of time, and then we go very quickly to writing. The same thing, writing is also intensive writing and extensive writing. Extensive reading, yeah, extensive reading is reading that is done by the student on their own time, according to the choice of them, and for pleasure. Yeah, for pleasure. The same thing with intensive writing. Intensive writing is the writing on the student own time, and then it is not to do with the task. And then this is also free for them, and they can develop their own writing. And intensive writing here can be writing with guidance, writing to follow the curriculum expectation. This is intensive. Awareness of writing component and mechanic to be checked and to be assessed. And these are the activities, for example, writing a card, filling in a story, using a new vocabulary and a context. This is an example of intensive writing. And then describing a picture, writing about personal experience. And then this is the example of the writing that you can use for the student to follow up online activities like writing unfinished story, group chain mystery stories through group chat. So they have to write a mystery story, and then they have chain stories through the voice note, for example. So one student in a voice note and then another student, or maybe through writing in a chain. And then story reconstructions. And for example, the story is, there is a bad guy, good guy in a story. In the story reconstruction, they have to change abruptly. The good guy become the bad guy becomes the good guy, and they have to reconstruct the story with a absolutely different characters, maybe, yeah. Or plot capture and subtitling. Plot capture and subtitling is after they read a particular story, for example, they have to capture the plot that they like, yeah. And then they, in the plot capture, they just pick what they like. Or if they watch movie, they only pick one frame, just one frame from the movie. And then after that, they write about that. They write about the frame, just one plot capture. And then cross-cultural story investigations. They can do an investigation of the story. For example, this is the story like the princess and prince. It happens in every country, and they can look at the similar story, and they can make some kind of a report, for example. Writing illogical story is also very interesting. Yeah, so that they can remember the characteristic of learning should be fun, engaging, yeah, fun and then engaging, and also make them learn independently. So writing illogical stories is also something that make it fun, yeah. Now, what do you do to improve reading and writing? Yeah, reading response activities. This is a creative way. So they have to make a response to whatever they read in a creative way. Yeah. And reflective writing from a reading. From a reading, they have a reflections. Yeah, reflection, they can talk about the author. Yeah, they can write about the author. Yeah, and maybe they can write about, I can feel that the author was desperate and when they write this, blah, 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 yeah. Or maybe they can do a reflection from the story. They can do a reflection about maybe the implied message, yeah. That's a reflective writing. Character personifications. This is also very interesting because they read first. Everything should start with reading and then writing. In character personifications, say for example, you read Harry Potter, yeah, Harry Potter, yeah. And then from Harry Potter, you put yourself as a Harry Potter. And then character personifications, then you have you write like you are a Harry Potter. Or in a Cinderella, you write like you are Cinderella. You write like Cinderella. So I'm very tired today. My stepmother give me so many work to do, blah, blah, blah. So that's a writing based on reading with a personifications of the character. And writing a scenario from a story. So from a story, you make it to a scenario for a play, yeah, for a drama, for example, yeah. And writing a review is also an activity that you can do so that the students can really, with the review, they can be very critical and also creative in the same way, and a writing impression and feeling. So this is about impression and feeling about something they read. So these are just the example that you can do. In addition, of course, you have very limited time online, but as I said before, you have to have a practical plan about what you're going to do online, what you're going to do in your virtual classes. And of course, you have to follow up what you do in virtual classes with something that make them independently learn. And then when you independently make them independently learn, then you have to, this is the conclusions. Because my time. Reading and writing is the key for literacy development. Literacy is the basis for academic success. Reading and writing skill can be improved without the presence of the teacher. So in a normal class, face-to-face class, there is a presence of a teacher always inside of the classroom. So reading and writing are, with the presence of the teacher. Yeah, and with the control of the teacher. But with online learning nowadays, with using the e-platform, you have to assign the student to have additional work by their own, and this will improve their skill without the presence of the teacher. And teachers should be creative in facilitating students to keep on reading and writing autonomously. Okay, so that's the conclusion, and I have the quotation here. The illiterate of the 21st century are not those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So this is really, really important that we need to read and write so that we understand, we have the knowledge permanently, and then after that we can use all the knowledge that we get from our reading to be shared, to be communicated, to be the basis for making decisions, to be the basis for example, in a discussion, yeah, and so forth. That's what is literacy all about. I think that's all I can say. I think I have done, is it Miss Josefina? Is my time already?
Okay, thank you so much. What a presentation.
Yes, okay then.
Yeah, what a presentation, Prof. Okay, I think the audience are so interested in your topic. So that's why we have some questions here to be discussed, but I just pick up some questions, not all the questions, because I see that some quizzes are similar to each other. So let us start from the first one. It is coming from Bergita Verlind. He asks about what should the teacher do in teaching and learning, especially in teaching English to improve the 4 pillars of education.
Okay, this is from? Sorry,
From Bergita. This is from Bergita Verlin, Prof.
Okay, that's a very good question. So do I answer right away?
Okay. Yes, Prof. You can answer it right away.
Thank you, Bergita. Thank you for the very good questions. Yeah. How do we do in teaching English so that we can really, meet the requirement of the 4 pillars? Yeah. This is a questions of many teachers. How do we teach English so that it's not only for the student to know, but also at the same time they can do it. They have the skills and they can be, can be a person. Yeah, can have the existency as a person, and at the same time to live together as part of the community. Well, as we know that the curriculum, we have to start curriculum. The curriculum have the big word here is the competency. Yeah, the competency. That's the curriculum that we have. So competency has already covered the meaning of know. Yeah, competency means cognitively. Yeah, have the cognitive competence, and then also affective competence. Yeah, and also there is also the skill. Yeah, the psychomotoric skill. So if we stick on the meaning of competent, it means that when we teach, we need to make the students not only to know, but they are able to use the language. And as I give the example before, when we assign that, when we teach, we need to teach them about the concept, of course, but there are 2 ways of introducing the concept. Say, for example, we want to teach the simple present tense. Say, for example, simple present tense. When we teach simple present tense, we have 2 ways, whether we want to use the inductive way or deductive way. Yeah. Deductive way means that we teach them about the rule first. We explain, look, this is the simple present tense. This is the example. This is the rules. Let's make some examples. Yeah. And then after they understand, they start doing or using that in activities. So they have to use that. It's not stopped by giving them assignment about the simple present tense, but give them a task that make them use the simple present tense. For example, before I give you the example, the second way is inductive way. That's the deductive way. Deductive way start by explaining the concept. Inductive way by starting with giving them example of the use. For example, give them a text and then ask them to read the text, read together, and then focus their attention to the tenses, Focus their attention to the example of the simple present tense in the text. So they know that the use first, and then after that, the teacher focus the concept after they know the use. So start from the general to the specific. That's inductive. But deductive start from the specific to the general. Deductive it start from the rule first and then the use. But inductive start from the use first and then see the rules. That's the difference. And what is highly recommended nowadays is that inductive way is considered to be more implementable for the skill. Jadi, if you use the inductive way, you actually already starting to teach them both learn to know and learn to do at the same time if you use the inductive way at the same time. Now, after they know the concept, you give them activity to use, to use the simple present tense. For example, you can give the assignment of doing a survey. Now, I want you to do a class survey. Yeah, you write questions. Yeah, you write the interview questions and send it to your friend. Yeah, write it in a Google form. So you can teach them technology at the same time. They have to write a questionnaire using a Google form and using simple present tense for doing a class survey. The class survey is about maybe you want to do about the students, say, whether the students, because this is the pandemic, how students spend their time, how students spend their time during pandemic. For example, that's a survey. So you have the instrument, the student have to develop the questionnaire in group. The question is like, what time do you get up every day? Yeah. What time do you, what do you do after you get up? Yeah. What time do you have breakfast? What food do you have for breakfast, for example? Do you do sport? What sport do you do? Something like that is simple presence. Yeah. And the answers are also in a simple presence. Yeah. The answer is like, what time do you get up? I get up at 8 o'clock every day. Yeah. What do you do after you get up? After I get up, I watch TV, for example. Yeah. So that's a survey using they develop into a Google form, and then after that they take the data, they analyze the data and write it's like a report. They like a report. Yeah. So a report about, say, for example, the report is about how students, for example, the class 5A, 5C, how 5C students spend their time during pandemic. Yeah, you can say 50% of the students wake up late. Yeah, 40 students wake up very early. Yeah, that's the use of simple presence. Yeah, in that case, learning to do is already in use. Yeah, learning to do already in use. Learning to be, this is about the future. Learning to be is the outcomes. Yeah, now there is a curriculum which is called as the outcome-based curriculum. In the outcome means that what they learn today will be useful for them in the future when they are at work, in the career, in the community. So that's learning to be. So when we do very well in the classroom, making them interact, making them use the language all the time, making them fluent and confident with the language, making them able to use the language effectively when communicating with the others, that will make the, that will lead to the outcome in the future to become learning to be. Yeah. So we don't know that yet. Of course, we don't know that yet, but we can predict. For example, when you teach descriptions, when you teach description, you're not going to give them only the picture, because that's what usually teachers do. They find the picture from the internet and give the student and ask them to describe the picture. Instead of doing that, you can do something in a different way. For example, describing a place, you can ask them to design. Please design a city, which is, atau you can say, a city, you can say, please design a city which is very, very unusual, that everybody will want to live there. Yeah, very special city that everybody want to live there. Yeah, and think about the city. You can imagine the city. First, it's a new city. Second, everybody will want to live there. Everybody will feel very comfortable to live there, very healthy to live there. Yeah, and they will have a long life to live there. Imagine that, and then design that, and then describe, draw. Yeah, make a drawing, draw the picture, and make a description. So when they do that, it is not only that they learn to know, because in learning to know, of course, you need to explain, yeah, using inductive or deductive way. And then later, when you have a design of the task like that, it's not only that they can learn to do, but they also learn to be, because they know using their creative thinking. They are creative to imagine a city. And I used that once, yeah, before. And then my students imagine that the city is in the middle of the forest, yeah. And they make it like, you know, in the middle of green, yeah, they have the human-made lake, yeah, and they have all electrical car, yeah, or cable car, electrical car, so there is no pollutions whatsoever, yeah, noise pollutions, air pollution, there is no pollutions. And then the public places are complete, yeah, they have the playground for children everywhere. So this is an example of the activity that the student have to do that make them challenge, yeah, in one challenge, but they also learn to know, learn to do, learn to be in the future, yeah, and because they work in group, yeah, they also learn to collaborate, they learn to respect others when they speak, they listen, yeah, when other people to speak. They also make consensus every time when they have a lot of differences in the discussion. They come to a consensus because they have to work together, to talk together, and finally making a group decisions. That's also the character to become part of living together harmoniously. And that will be in the future. So for learning to be and learning to live together, you put the characters also into your learning. Yeah, to put your characters into the learning. And for learning to do, you put the activity that make them use the language in a fun way, in a challenging way, and then also make them work that engage themselves with the others and work collaboratively, and they use their creativity at the same time. So this is what to do. And maybe you have a question. So how do we assess then when there is a lot of freedom, yeah, for the student? Well, you can have the assessment rubric beforehand. You can have the assessment rubric before you give them the assignment or the task, so that they know, oh, this is the assessment rubric, so I have to be like this. So you can put, for example, the first one, yeah, very simple. Don't make it complicated. Yeah, the first one is because you, for example, you want them to design a city and then describe out of it. Yeah, so you are going to assess their description and their creativity. So you put into your rubric creativity. Yeah, creativity will get, say, 5 points when, so you can put 4 points when, so 5 to, or if you want to make it simple, don't make it complicated by 1 to 5, but 1 to 3. Creativity, very high, yeah, very high, sorry, not very high, high, moderate, low. Creativity, high, moderate, low. Yeah. And then after that, because it's a description, then you can say content. Yeah. Good, moderate, low. 3, 2, 1. And then after that, maybe you can talk about the language use. Yeah. Good, moderate, low. And then after that, in language use, and then maybe you can say the organization, high, good, moderate, low. So you can just say that. So when you mark that, you just say, for example, you have the item of 5 items to make it simple. So the maximum they can get is 15. Ya kan? Jadi saya pakai bahasa Indonesia. Jadi kita bikinkan rubrik sederhana sekali. Mereka juga akan dikasih rubrik sebelum bekerja. Bahwa yang akan dinilai itu kreativitas. Ya. Jadi kreativitasnya itu akan dilihat mungkinnya design of the city, ya. Kemudian the possibility of people want to live in the city. Jadi possibility people want to live in the city. Ya. Kemudian mungkin kita bisa bicara masalah apa namanya? We can say about the physical look of the city. Ya. Mungkin bisa seperti itu, landscape, jadi city landscape, kemudian public places, kemudian apa namanya? Environment, ya, environment. Itu kreativitinya bisa dinilai 3, 2, 1, terserah, ya. Kita ingin lihat. Lalu deskripsinya. Jadi pertama dari city design bisa dilihat mungkin 3 poin atau 4 poin. Kemudian description mungkin 6 poin. 6 poinnya 3, 2, 1. Kalau ada 10 poin kan 30 nilainya. Nah, nanti bagaimana caranya menilai? Ya, 30 itu dijadikan menjadi ditransfer menjadi 100. Ya. Jadi mungkin 30 kali 10 dibagi 3. Ya. Jadi 30 kan 30 poin maksimal. 30 poin kali 10 kan 300. 300 bagi 3 itulah nilainya. Kalau memang kalau dia penuh semuanya nilainya full 333 ya nilainya 100 gitu. Tetapi kalau ada kurang-kurangnya tentu di sana akan ada kurangnya jadi dibuat menjadi skala 100 seperti itu. Jadi sederhana sekali caranya menilai, karena semuanya dinilai dengan poin-poin yang sederhana. Tidak perlu complicated. Ya, hanya good, moderate, low. Good, moderate, misalnya high, moderate, low. Good, moderate, misalnya, you can say good, moderate, low. Ya, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1 gitu saja. Sehingga itu bisa dinilai. Nah, something that is very also good when they assess themselves. Coba dinilai diri kalian. That's also a motivation for them. Ya, they will look at the design. Wah, ini desain kita city-nya masih belum terlalu sehat. Ya, and then they change. Jadi itu adalah gunanya assessment. Ya, assessment can be used for learning. Assessment itu ada 3. Assessment of learning, assessment for learning, assessment as learning. Nah, yang kita bicarakan tadi, ketika kita berikan siswa itu rubriknya, sederhana gitu ya, rubrik sederhana, ini loh, nanti dinilainya begini. Nah, dia itu sebenarnya memakai assessment for learning. They will look, well, my design is not good, so we are not going to get 3 in this point. Let's make it better. So that's what is called as assessment for learning. Yeah, and they also can swap with their friend to assess peer assessment. So that's also learning. Yeah, and then the teacher also assess, and there will be a discussion. I give you 3 for this. Why did you assess yourself with 2? Yeah, then there is the discussions. So that's online learning can be conducted that way, so that when you meet, when they work independently and then you meet, you can have a discussion like that. Yeah. How do you assess group 2? Well, group 2, overall they get 80. because I give 2 on this because blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So there is a discussion, and that's learning to do and learning to be. Karena dia bisa memberikan, ya, the student are trained to give their opinion. The student are trained to speak spontaneously. That's learning to be. Because when the student are trained to speak spontaneously all the time, it means that they build confidence and they build the speaking fluency, yeah, and they will be able to use that so that they can use it as learning to be in the future. So that's an outcome that we can think, yeah. Okay, so for story, for example, teaching story, there are so many strategies that is fun for them to do, make them very enthusiastic, make them very motivated to do. And then you can also have the very simple rubric for assessment. So you use the rubric for the student as a tool for learning, but you use that also for a tool to assess, yeah, assessment of learning. So their learning you assess using the same rubric. Jadi rubric itu bisa dipakai guru untuk assessment of learning, dipakai siswa sebagai assessment for learning. Yeah, so that's what you can do for the learning to do and learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. Okay, I hope it answers your questions, Birgitta.
Okay.
Any other questions? And I have to announce that many of my students are here from Undixa.
Yes,
So
yes.
good to
We
see
see
them
it
here.
from, yeah.
Yeah, there are so many of them, so I'm happy that they are here.
Yeah.
Okay, any other
Prof,
questions?
can we move to another question?
Of course. How many more time do we have?
We still have 15 minutes, Prof, actually.
Are you sure? Okay, yes, we still have 15
yes,
minutes.
we still have 15 minutes. This is from Yosef, yeah, Yosef Mortoval. He is the student of English department. He finds difficulties in learning English, and it is more difficult and complicated within this pandemic, because the classroom is arranged in online class, not face-to-face classrooms again. So he asks your suggestion on how can he increase and develop his English skills.
Okay, thank you, Yosef. Yeah, hello, Yosef.
Yes.
Are you here? Hello, Yosef. Thank you for the questions. Yeah, thank you for the questions. And I think a lot of students have that problem as well. Yeah, how can you learn in this pandemic? Yeah, learning English is difficult even when you have the normal class. And now with the situations, which is very unexpectedly, then it's even make it more difficult. First, yeah, learning could occur independently. Yeah, so the students, you yourself or students have to have the awareness of the need to learn continuously. Yeah, so this is from your own. This is from your own motivation. First of all, you have to have the motivations. Yeah. First of all, the second one, it's coming from the external, yeah, coming internally from yourself, so self-driven, yeah, coming from yourself. And then the second one is externally driven, which is coming from the teacher, from the system, from the university, from the lecturer. Now, the best of learning is when the two of them occur, yeah? So learning from self, yeah, and also learning from the external. Why? As I said before, as I've told you before, that the university or the formal institution have the role to give formal intervention or innovative intervention. So intervention means to direct the student to learn on the track according to the curriculum, but the teacher should design the tasks that make the student learn independently, like what I said before. I give you the example of activity before. So you said, if from the university you didn't really get much because of the problem with the connection, yeah, at least you can focus, yeah, on the topics, yeah. You know that every semester that the lecturer already, at the beginning of the semester, the teacher already give you the course outline, or in other words, what are the topics to be covered in the materials. And then you have to optimize your self-driven learning, yeah, self-driven learning, self-driven motivation for learning. And you are very spoiled by the technology nowadays. You can use your mobile phone to learn, yeah. You can find materials very easily from the internet, yeah. You can find the materials from yeah, many shape, many forms. Like, for example, you can find video, you can find movie, you can find you know, the concept, the PowerPoints, you can find the lecturing, yeah, the lecturing even also from the YouTube about a particular topic. You can watch that, and then you can develop your learning, and you have to make yourself aware that this is for me, yeah. If I don't do that for me, who will do that for me in these situations, yeah. You know, as I mentioned before, English is top global competency. On the first on the list, yeah. English is on top. It means that if you want to be successful in life, you have to really develop your self-driven motivation to learn. Yeah, that's my advice for you. Keep learning. Doesn't matter if just small things every day, yeah. If you just read an advertisement in English in a day, that will help you a lot, yeah. Only one advertisement in English, you will see, at least you will develop your decoding skills of reading, and then you also learn the vocabulary, and you will learn about the style of putting up an advertisement online, or how to write an advertisement. Or maybe just very small things by yeah, chatting with friends in English. Yeah, you chat in English. That's also the practice. Yeah, that's a practice. And if you do it every day, like, you know, 5 minutes chatting with friends in English, yeah, independently, that will challenge you. You understand what you don't know, so you know what you don't know, yeah. So when you chat about something about daily life, then you will realize that you don't have the vocabulary for a particular word, and then follow that up by finding that in a dictionary, whether it's a, you know, electronic dictionary or a printed dictionary. You can find that. That's also learning. So as long as you continuously do that, never stop, no matter how small it is every day, I'm sure that small will make it big instead of nothing. If you don't do anything, you will have nothing. But if you start with just a small things every day, at the end, you will never imagine that you have so much, yeah. If you just find 2 words every day, how many words will you have in a year? Yeah, this is just about commitment. This is about self-driven motivation yourself. That's what I advise. And then from the intervention from the institutions, they will provide you with the activities for you. The activities, as I mentioned before, yeah, the activities or the assignment will make you work with your friends. Even though you don't meet your friend in person, you can always use WhatsApp so that you can, you know, discuss together. That's also the learning, yeah. That's a learning. And then you maybe have a job description when you do the task. Please find this, you find that, you find those, and then after that you add together and then you design something together. So that's a learning, yeah. This is really coming from inside of yourself in the situation. Is more than the intervention from the university with a limited time. So limitation of time from the intervention, but unlimited time from you yourself. So this is really about you. So that's really what I can advise for now. Thank you. I hope that helped. That answer your question yourself.
Yeah. Okay. One more question, Prof. The last question, I think. Okay. This is from Imelda, Prof. Okay. She realizes that more challenges are coming during this pandemic, especially in learning English. So her question is that how to cope the challenges in online learning, okay, and how to overcome their problems in improving their English skills, especially in online learning, because they find that it is more complicated and more difficult than before.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question, Imelda. Hello, Imelda. Yeah. Thank you for the question, Imelda. That's a very good question. It's very similar to the first questions. Yeah. During the pandemic, there are so many, limitation in so many ways for learning. Yeah. How can we cope with this situation and keep on improving our English language skills? Once again, the key to in answering this is the self motivations. Yeah, this is the key. Yeah, learning come from external, yeah, and also from internal. So your willingness to learn is the key to success. The second one is when there is a willingness to learn, it also must be supported by the facilities. And the facilities is in one click away from your mobile phone, you can find materials, yeah? But if you have problem with the with the facilities of mobile phone, you can connect to internet, for example, yeah? You can find anything, yeah, you can share with friends. So you can, if you find something and then you can share with the friends, or maybe you can read something which is in print, or maybe you can express what you feel in English, yeah. That's for speaking and writing, yeah. You can express orally with a friend, or you maybe can write every day. You have an entry, you have a diary entry every day, yeah, and express or write about what you experience during the day and how you feel about the day. Doesn't matter if it's a bit messy at the beginning. What I mean by messy, you are not sure about the quality of your language. Keep going, yeah. Don't make yourself stop just because you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel confident. It doesn't matter, because a diary entry is for you to read, nobody else reading it. But if you keep on doing that, no matter how messy it is, you will keep developing, yeah. You will have the intuition. At least you know when you write, you know the problem, yeah. You know the problem when you write your diary entry, yeah. And then after that, you will keep going. Then the problem that you encounter, you realize your problem, and then you probably have the opportunity to find out what is true out of the what is correct out of the incorrect things that you do in your diary. That's an example. So keep on writing in your diary. That's an exercise to write, and also an exercise for thinking. Yeah, it's a thinking. You optimize your thinking. Thinking is also a skill. Yeah, thinking is also a skill. The characteristic of a skill? Skill should be practiced every day. I give you an analogy like driving a car or driving a motorbike, maybe you know the part, yeah, this is called brake, this is called like, you know, a clutch, this is called a mirror, sorry, it's a whatever, I don't know the English term for motorbike, yeah. It's not enough if you know, but you have to try to ride it. And by riding it, you sometimes, you know, not very balanced, but you keep trying, yeah, keep trying. And then you get used to it and you get balanced. The same thing with learning English language skills, because skills, you need to have a lot of practice. Yeah, do a lot of practice, and to do a lot of practice will make you skillful. So the same thing with English, keep on writing, and then find any material that you can read, no matter what. Yeah, no matter what material, as long as it is in English, that will keep you focused. So this has really come from you, Imelda. So whether you want to really, you know, put yourself into continuous learning, yeah, no absent, every day, keep on learning, keep on reading, no absent, then you will develop that. And how do you cope with the problem? Well, the problem is probably mechanical. Mechanical is to do with the access, yeah. Nothing we can do about that. But if the problem is to do with facilities, just use whatever facilities you can get access to. Yeah, if it is not online facilities, then use the offline facilities. In a school that I observe, yeah, the teacher are willing to accept the student work, even though it is not a work that assigned by the teacher. For example, one student suddenly very, you know, very, very interested to write something, write a poem, and then write a short story, and give it to the teacher, and the teacher read that. So this is not an assignment, but the student feel that they have the interest to write something in English. The same with you. This is about the internal drive from yourself. Yeah, whether you want to improve yourself, because the key word for skill, for improving the English language skill is practice, practice, practice. Yeah, and practice should not wait from the teacher to assign you to do things, but it should come from yourself. So please do it continuously every day. Yeah, that's my suggestion, Imelda. I hope that answer your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. Because we are limited by the time, so I think it is enough for discussion session. And actually, I'm not there enough, Prof, to take the conclusion from your presentation. To end this session, I would like to say thank you very much, Prof, for sharing us your brilliant knowledge. Okay, we have a lot of new information today in how to handle our online class during this pandemic. Thank you so much, Prof.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, warm regards from Flores, from Ruteng, Prof. Hope we can see you in another seminar.
Okay, hope so. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you again one day in the future. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the first session has already finished. Next, we move to the next session, the second session. And our honorable speaker will be Pak Hieronymus Darong, Pak Doktor. Good day, Pak.
Halo, Boce. Ya.
Halo, ya. Good day, Pak.
Ya, Boce.
Okay. How are you, Pak?
Fine, Bu.
Okay. Well, thank you, Pak, for joining us in this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the presentation from Dr. Hieronymus, I would like to introduce him to you all. Well, Dr. Hieronymus is from Manggarai, especially from Beokina. Okay, he got his S1 from Stiba Malang in 2000 and his S2 from Undiksa Bali in 2011. He finished his S3 from Malang, UM Malang in 2020. His interest or his research passion is on teaching and learning and also linguistic. He has already published a lot of articles in numbers of reputed and indexes international and national journals. So from right now, I would like to give chance to Dr. Hieronymus to present the material. Pak, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bu Uche, Honorable Dean, the head of English Study Program, and then also our guest speaker today, Prof. Artini. Thank you very much for being here. And what a presentation. We have got a lot of fruitful and insightful ideas regarding the way of teaching in this pandemic era. Well, what I'm trying to learn and to send together in this seminar. Boche, may I share my screen?
Okay, you are welcome. Pak.
Well, actually, Prof. Artini have already given us very insightful ideas about this one actually. But what I'm trying to share actually is a little bit on discussion. Yeah. Well, this is the outline that I want to share. First one is introduction, and then the readiness and the challenge. And then the second one is understanding the context, liminal space, trans-English teacher in this context. And then I try to provide a small example actually regarding how to engage students in enhancing students' language skill in this context. And the last one, a very important notes to consider, things to ponder upon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that everyone in this room agrees with me that our life has been switched, has been changed in every aspects of our life, I think, including in teaching, learning process. But I need to differentiate actually regarding the teaching learning process in online learning. So we will have, let's say, a little bit or insights about how to engage our students' language skill in this context. That's why I need to differentiate actually what is the nature or the difference between online learning and emergency remote teaching. Why should I differ these two terms? Because it has something to do with, to avoid our frustration regarding our teaching learning process in this pandemic context. Well, let's take a look on online learning. Online learning is actually intentionally designed for remote and distance. Yeah. So the teacher are prepared and then the teacher are trained, and it is by design. So the policymaker or the government has a special program or let's say policy to conduct with certain or particular purposes. And then the mode of education also definitely internet connection. And then students are voluntarily enlisting. This is mean that if they involve in this online learning, they will realize that they have to be or they have something to do with the system of or internet connection. And then it's not urgent and long-term solution. Yeah. And the last one is all resources are accessible and get support. Yeah, why? Because it is prepared, it is designed, and it is for a long-term solution, and it's not urgent. And then emergency remote teaching is something else. And I think this is what we are countering at this moment. Well, it has something to do with the crisis. Yeah, it beyond human control, and it is temporal. Could be 1 year or 2 years, as long as the crisis is controlled. Lack of resources, yeah, I think because it is temporary, yeah, it is not by design. And then we do not may, or we may not give having full support from the faculty, because yeah, there is no coordination, for example, tanpa ada persiapan dan lain sebagainya. Karena yeah, it is not by design. It is something to do with the way how to face the crisis. And then students may not have choice. Sehingga banyak sekarang, ya kalau kita lihat, some students having some difficulties to get the internet, but to be or not to be, willy-nilly, they have to join the class because there is no other choice. Well, talking about online learning or emergency remote teaching actually cannot be separated from, like what Prof. Artini said, that it has something to do with the interaction. Yeah, even though there is quite difference between face-to-face and online learning in terms of interaction, but the ideal one should be like this. Yeah, types of interaction, online learning. There must be social presence, and then teaching presence, and also cognitive presence. While teaching presence here means that there must be an interaction between students and teachers. While cognitive presence, there must be an interaction between a teacher or students with their learning materials. While social presence, well, even though it's quite difficult in this context, but the ideal one, as I said in the very beginning, that there must be social presence, yeah, or let's say intimacy between the teacher and the students, between the students and the students themselves. So the point that what I want to emphasize in this case, that whether it is online learning or emergency remote teaching, there must be collaboration. There must be interaction between teacher and students, students and students themselves, and also with the learning materials. Yeah. So the collaboration is highly recommended, even though in fact it's quite difficult. Well, this is in line with Marugi and Teng, 2010. They said that it is evident that for online learning to benefit ESL students, it must be incorporate social interaction, collaboration, and reflection. So again, this is quite important in the context of online learning or emergency remote teaching, even though in fact it's quite difficult. Let's discuss it together later on. Well, social constructivist theory also highlight the same thing, yeah, regarding the term collaboration, as I emphasized before, that moving from teacher-centered learning environment to a learner-centered collaborative learning will be key successful implementation of collaborative online learning technology. Well, we cannot avoid right now that we have to adapt ourselves with the use of ICT, and even though it is something to do with the technology, but collaboration is still highly demanded, yeah, as proposed by this kind of theory. Well, regarding the thing that I have already explained so far, that we cannot deny in this context right now, there are many tools. Yeah, too many tools spoils our course. We have WhatsApp, Google Classroom, Padlet, Zoom, learning application, learning apps, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but more importantly, that we have to pay attention on is that teacher must learn to recognize, yeah, the social process that technology enables to understand how to support this process way to foster the emergence of meaningful communities. So the point here is still that there is still collaboration. This is the one I want to emphasize by stating this kind of statement. Very crucial questions then. Yeah, I have to explain it a little bit faster. Are we ready in this context? Do teachers and students have already prepared themselves to face such kind of context? This is a very hard question to answer, actually. This is a kind of illustration. Yeah, I think that parents, students, governments, and also the internet connectivity, I think, big problem for right now. Yeah, governments try hard to overcome this kind of situation by providing some policies, some program, just to make our teaching learning process running well. This is the fact that we face right now. And I would like to say that we are not in the same boat, but we are in the same storm. Yeah. So sometimes the problems facing in our region is totally different from other regions. Yeah. Even though we have the same problem facing this pandemic, but I think that the storm is totally different. In our context, in Manggarai, for example, I'm not talking in other regions such as in Bali, because I do believe that network is quite good. But in our context, I think, I don't know what to say, but the problem is still like a big storm for us to conduct or to implement emergency remote teaching in this context. So Salmon said that teaching online needs careful planning and preparation. Otherwise, the stories might be continuous moderators being overloaded and burned out by the work. So good preparation is highly demanded in this context, yeah, to face such kind of challenge. Well, this is the teacher problems right now, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, we have a curriculum completion, yeah. On the other side, we have time reduction. The government forces us to complete our curriculum while the time right now is reduced. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, is only 60% out of 40. Yeah. This is the teacher problems right now. Aside from those two, we also find out that communicating with parents is quite difficult at this moment regarding the way of conducting our teaching and learning process. Yeah, I don't know. This may be because of the other things such as internet connectivity, or yeah, it's all about financial support. So the problems or the challenge of conducting emergency remote teaching, I don't want to say online learning, because as I said in the very beginning, that there's totally different between online learning and emergency remote teaching. So this is a big challenge for us. Yeah. Well, aside from those things, we also, on the other side, we have another problem, which is I think is quite important to cope with or to deal with. Yeah, it has something to do with the technological acceptance. I don't know for the students here and other lectures, I myself are still trying to adapt myself, regarding the technological acceptance. Probably I belong to digital immigrant, or could be a digital tourist. I do believe that our students right now, they belong to digital native. So their technology acceptance might be better than us. It is a fact. But to be or not to be, willy-nilly, we have to adapt ourselves. So technology acceptance in the context of emergency. This is the data that I got from Competence. Well, 83% consider that emergency remote teaching as a challenge. So bringing classroom to home is something like, let's say, a ghost for them. Why? Because there are many challenges that they have to face. They here refers to we as a teacher, also parents and the students. So what I'm trying to say in this context is that emergency remote teaching, or let's say online learning, is not easy as we think. But we have to adapt ourselves, even though there are still other difficulties, barriers, or challenges in this case. This is a very important question, as our topic today. What should teachers do? I put the quote here from Albert Einstein. I do believe that everyone already understands this one. The strongest is not the winner. It is not the most intellectual one who survives, but the one who can adapt and adjust. So by stating this statement, actually is a kind of expectation for us. As a teacher, we have to adapt ourselves. Especially about teaching and learning in which the ICT is utilized, automatically utilized. Well, again, this is the statement proposed by Wenger. Teachers must learn to recognize the social process that technology enables and understand how to support this process as a way to foster the emergence of meaningful communication. I try to restate this kind of statement because, well, this is a kind of encouragement for us as a teacher to adapt ourselves with the change that we are facing at this moment. Next, regarding what should the teachers do, we have to understand the context. This is the process of the movement, the change, from 1.0, 2.0 up to the 4.0 right now. And we cannot deny that this is a kind of liminal space. We are living in a liminal space right now. A liminal space means that it's kind of threshold. We cannot, we want to move forward, but sometimes we have to look back. This is liminal space, and I think the teacher has to be careful in placing themselves where they should go. Well, who is the actors of the liminal space here? And I don't know in which category you belong to, whether you belong to initiate, amateur, novice, beginner. But the liminal space will bring you to the elder, professional, expert, and master. So right now we are here. we belong to liminal space. Just like this, liminal space, it's a threshold. It's the journey, moving a repeated journey back and forth. And as a teacher, right now, we belong to trans classroom teachers. We are in the journey of moving forward, but sometimes we feel unsure, uncomfortable, toward our new identity. But it is excited, and willing to go forward. So in one side, we are drawn back to our conventional way of thinking, but on the other side, we are excited to go forward. And in the context of teaching learning process, I think we also are categorized in this zone. So face-to-face classroom interaction, and this is online, and the red one is the trans classroom teacher. So the zone to be transformed many times as teacher gain trans classroom expertise. So the point of being trans classroom teacher is having an expertise. Kita dituntut untuk bisa mengadaptasikan diri, walaupun sedikit kita terbuai dengan masa lalu kita, face to face, but because of the condition, because of the crisis, we have to be in online activity, online teaching, learning process, and we are placed as the trans classroom teacher. Okay, so becoming a trans classroom teacher, in my presentation right now, I try to provide a little bit example, and I intentionally provide WhatsApp and email for teaching paragraph writing, because I do believe that WhatsApp and email is already familiar with the students. This is an example, For writing, I try to provide an example of using e-platforms here, especially using WhatsApp and email. It's a very easy one. I mean, the platform is very cheap. It's reachable. According to NIST 2013, there are 5 stages in applying e-platforms. The first one is recognizing, accepting, adapting, exploring, and advancing. So how to deal with this kind of steps? Let's be recognizing. So as I said before, that we have to recognize whether this application is reachable or not, whether our students are able to use this kind of application or not. So we have to recognize the use of platform that we want to utilize in teaching writing. So I provide an example of teaching writing here. And then after recognizing, we have to accepting the function. So after recognizing whether the students are able to use this kind of application, we have to conduct the second stage, that is accepting. It has something to do with the function of that application. We share something, we communicate something by sending text, links, or image. Well, the third stage is that adapting or engagement. Engage the students in the use of application to learn to write paragraphs. Well, this is an example that I provide here, online text for paragraph writing, such as a write and comparison or contrast paragraphs with a clear instruction, of course. Students are not allowed, and then the submission deadline also provided here. So this is the way how to engage students, how to adapt the application of WhatsApp or email. Actually, we can use another application such as learning apps in this context. Bisa menggunakan aplikasi lain juga, yaitu learning apps. Itu sangat murah sekali. Bisa pakai 3G juga bisa. Ya, it's very low bandwidth. Okay, well, adapting. And then the fourth one is that exploring. This is the teacher task. Yeah, after engaging the students in this stage, the teacher has to explore during the teaching learning process. The way how to explore is by giving or providing feedbacks or exercises. They have already conduct or finish their tasks or assignment, for example, in the stage 3, and now we have to give a feedback or exercise. Yeah. Well, this is some exercises, number 1 up to number 5. Students are requested to check their own work. Yeah, I state the examples here. To me, for example, have an ambition about something is very important. Another meaning is so on and so forth until number 5. So the students are requested to check their own work, whether what they have already written is acceptable or not in terms of grammar or choice of word or something. Yeah. The point is that in the process of exploring, the teacher provide feedback or exercises, and giving feedback here might be conducted through peer feedback or something, or self-evaluation. So in the teaching learning process, the teacher has to explore. Yeah, this is categorized in the exploring stage. And then the last one is advancing. It has something to do with the way how you manage the use of technology tools in or outside the classroom. For example, that for writing for communication, you ask your students to write journal in 4 sessions, and then you have to adapt topic submission, topic selection, or topic assignment. So this is the way how we engage students' activity in enhancing their language skill, proposed by NACE 2030. Okay, other things that we have to consider or to ponder on is that this is a good term proposed by Postcon Laura, 2020. The term is fast, familiar, accessible to all, student-centered, and time. Let's see one by one. Familiar. Yeah. What do you know how students learn? As a teacher, it is a must to know or to categorize in which level students belong to. Yeah. What materials that students have learned, for example, and how their preference in learning such kind of materials. After knowing that, you have to also know what activities that should be employed in this context. Yeah, of course, it has something to do with the way how to make the teaching learning more enjoyable. Yeah, and then what technology are used already comfortable using. I'm afraid that there are many applications, many IC tools, but it's not comfortable. Yeah, comfortable in this case is not about the complexity of using such kind of tools, but also it has something to do with the familiarity for students. Yeah, there are many applications provided that help students. As I said in the very beginning, that there are many tools for the course, but we have to consider also the familiarity for our students. It is a must to consider. And then the second one, accessible. How can we differentiate our learning? Ya, bagaimana kita bisa membuat pembelajaran itu bisa diakses dengan baik, to make it accessible. Ya, And then what method of assessment to demonstrate students' learning? I think Prof. Artine have already given us very clear idea about the way how to assess students, yeah, in the process of learning. And then student center. Yeah, due to the physical barrier, how can a particular activity reach a learning goal? Yeah, of course, the orientation here is on students. How can we make it more useful for individual learning instead for teachers? Yang jadi fokus adalah siswanya. Bagaimana bisa membuat itu menyenangkan untuk siswa, but not for the teacher. And then time. We have to consider the time. Yeah, how long the activity spend the planning lesson. Yeah, this is special, or let's say interesting things to be pondered upon, proposed by Bosco Laura. Yeah, and then other things that we have to consider in engaging activities regarding enhancing students' language skill is that as a teacher, we have to compete with the distraction. Yeah, right now we are having Zoom, for example, but I don't know whether the others are still sleeping or not. I don't know. So we have to compete with distraction actually. Some students like to go to another things such as Facebook or WhatsApp. Yeah, and as a teacher, yeah, we have to try to avoid such kind of thing. Yeah, compete with distraction. And then the second one, the things that we have to consider as a teacher, start with what students know. Yeah, their prior knowledge is highly recommended to consider by the teacher. What I'm afraid of is that we try to provide certain materials, but it is not really familiar with the students. And then having a clear purpose, stick to the essentials. Ya, kita langsung pada instruksi atau tujuan yang jelas supaya nanti bisa berjalan dengan baik. Dan itu bisa dibantu dengan seeking out or spreading the learning activities with clear instruction. For example, what should you do in 15 minutes? And then what will you do for 15 minutes next? So we have to spread the activities clearly, yeah, of course with a clear instruction. And the last one is giving support or feedback, yeah, whether it is in oral or written. Yeah, assessment for or assessment as learning, as Prof. Artini have already explained the way how to assess our students. Assessment for and assessment for learning. And assessment for learning right now is highly suggested for us to implement the process of teaching and learning. Well, just to emphasize that we have to learn what students' interests are. Ya, kita harus bisa melihat apa sih minat atau preferensi siswa. And then we have to choose engaging topics. And then we have to consider also the level or the age. And then use the target language. And if it is necessary, we have to scaffold. So this is the things that we have to consider in engaging students, yeah, to enhance their language skill in this pandemic. Besides that, still about assessment, yeah, we cannot only assess students cognitively, but also we have to pay attention their attitude and skills. This is the form of assessing students regarding knowledge. We can provide students written tasks or task collection. And then if you want to assess students' attitude, we have to do kind of observation, self or peer assessment. And then for skills, yeah, making or writing or video product, so we can assess their skills. So those three things are important to assess by the students. Yeah, cognitive, not by the students, but by teachers. They are cognitive, attitude, and skills. Well, what about the students? What I have already explained so far, something to do with the teacher side. Ya, yang saya jelaskan sebelumnya adalah cara guru to engage students in enhancing their language skill. But what about the student side? What should the students do? Yeah. Well, I have already said, quote, yeah, Albert Einstein's opinion that the one who will be the winner is not the strong intellectual one, but the one who will be the winner is the one who can adapt or adjust themselves, yeah, following the change that we are facing right now. Therefore, as a students, you have to have kind of self-autonomous learning. You have to have self-evaluation, self-initiation, and personal involvement. You have to do that. Yeah. Don't try to wait from your teachers, but you as a students also have to try too hard. Again, the point or the success of emergency remote teaching or online learning is the collaboration between teacher and students. The teacher has to find out the best way how to engage students' activity, and also on the other side, the students themselves have to try hard to motivate themselves, to evaluate themselves, to initiate themselves, and have very good personal involvement. So self-autonomous learning is highly recommended. Well, this is the conclusion. Online learning is not digitizing the materials only. Ya, kita belajar online learning itu bukan hanya mendigitalkan materi kita. Ya, online learning makes use of effective strategies and activities that provide space for students' active learning. Teaching is not only transferring something, teaching is not only informing something, but teaching has to make the students active in learning. Jadi mengajar itu bukan hanya menginformasikan, mentransfer sesuatu, tapi jauh lebih dari itu bisa membuat siswa itu belajar lebih aktif secara mandiri. Ya, okay. And the last one, intimacy and personal involvement has to be there. Intimacy here. In the second slide, I already profiled that teacher presence, cognitive presence, knowledge presence, and then also social presence. Personal involvement, so not only teacher, but also the students themselves have to involve in the teaching learning process by having self-evaluation, self-initiation, and so on and so forth. And the last one, it has something to do with assessment. Task, load, and assessment must be considered. Sometimes the teacher provide many tasks, many assignments, but there is no assessment. So we have to consider that. Well, Buoche, I think I have to stop.
Okay.
My presentation is already over.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pahiro. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello?
Way to engage students. Are you there?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Pahiro, for the presentation. Okay. Pahiro, sorry, could you please stop share your screen?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Pak. Okay, well, Pahiro, well, actually, our audience are so interested in your topic. So that's why we have some questions here to be discussed. Okay. Again, it comes from Joseph Martonoval. Okay. He asks you, what should a student do to develop English language skills through technology? That is the question, Pak. You can answer it directly.
Hello, Coach.
Hello, Pak.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question, can we go directly to the discussion session, Pak?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first question is coming from Yoses Mortonoval, Pak. He asks about what should students do to develop English language skill through technology? Because right now, through online learning, they have to deal with the technology and media. How to optimize it from the student's perspective? They ask your suggestion, Pak. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for Joseph. Very good question, I think. Yeah. Well, in the very beginning of my presentation, I have already explained that our life has been changed. Yeah, and we as a teacher, we have to adapt ourselves regarding this change. And I suggest you, well, from student side, yeah, there must be self-evaluation, self-initiation, personal involvement, and also self-autonomous of learning. That's it, Buache. We have to adapt ourselves. Yeah, as a teacher, I think I have already explained it. Some things to consider or to ponder upon, and then for the students, in the last slide, I have already explained it clearly that students have to adapt ourselves as good as possible. Yeah, students, there are many learning applications. Yeah, there, such as learning apps, for example, Padlet, yeah, Fieldfit, and so on and so forth. But we have to be careful that some applications need high bandwidth. So it is only proposed for 4G. Yeah. In our context, I think we have to use learning apps or the other one, which is quite cheaper. So we have to go there. Learning apps is really cheap and it's quite easy. Yeah, or other application which is reachable. So the point is that you have to adapt ourselves. Yeah, you have to adjust ourselves as good as possible, and then you are helped by some learning application which is already provided in the internet or in the Google. Yeah, that's it, Buache. Hello, are you there? Yeah, this is one of our challenges conducting emergency remote teaching. This is internet connection is not really. Hello.
Hello, Pak. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have unstable internet connection, Pak. Sorry for this. Okay, we move to the next question. This is from Deviliana Odi. Okay, she asks about the impact of industrial revolution to the development of English language skill. What is the impact of industrial revolution to the improvement of English language skill?
Impact.
Yes.
Well, to answer this question, I have to clearly distinguish between the word impact and effect. Yeah, impact is a kind of long term, while effect is an immediate response of the action. So if the question is about the impact, meaning that the question has something to do with what something happened in the future in a quiet or in a very long period of time. Well, the impact of technology, technology, do you mean, Joseph? Or industrial revolution?
Hello?
Hello?
The impact of industrial revolution, Pak, to the development of language skills.
Good. I have already explained that right now we belong to liminal space. Yeah, liminal space means that it's a kind of threshold, whether you are going forward or you have to going back. So we are in the position of uncomfortable situation, but it is still excited. Yeah, kita pada posisi sekarang ini masuk dalam kategori liminal space, whether it is a teacher or a student. I have already explained that as a teacher, we have to be a trans classroom teacher, and the students probably have to be a trans classroom students. Yeah, so trans classroom students means that you have to be adaptive in this context, and then you have to decide whether you have to go forward or not while reflecting what's going on in the previous situation. So regarding the way how to improve your language skills, I think that you have to adapt, you have to try hard, you have to adjust yourself as good as possible, and then decide what should you do, because right now you belong to a liminal space. So be a transfer classroom student. That's the point.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pak.
Okay.
Odiliana, I hope that you are satisfied and can get a point of the answer. The last question, Pak, it is from Sandi Asman. Okay, online learning facilitates us to deal with computer and laptop, and it is very possible for everyone, the students and also the teacher, to be affected by computer vision syndrome, or what is known as digital eye strain. So the question is that, how do you respond to this as the teacher to protect yourself from this kind of health problems? And how do you suggest the students to be protected themselves from this kind of syndrome also, Pak?
Okay, it's a very good question. Yeah. Well, I provide a special term in my explanation just now that we have to compete with the distraction. Yeah. As a teacher, sometimes when we are teaching, the students are doing something else. They are going to Facebook or WhatsApp, or they just turn off their video and doing something else. So as a teacher, we have to compete this kind of distraction. And the best way to overcome such kind of problem is using, for example, if you are doing a synchronous video conference, for example, you used as a teacher have to use a chat box and greet their students. Yeah, so to avoid such kind of distraction, that's the thing that the teacher has to do, compete with the distraction. And then the second thing is that as a student, you have to be very sensitive in adapting or in using IC tools or internet. Yeah, our research says that 40% of the students spend their time not for learning but for browsing something which is like Asman said, that is harmful or dangerous for their life. So the best way is that you have to be filtered. Yeah, you have to be sensitive. Anda harus bisa memfilter semua segala informasi yang ada. Tapi yang saya mau jelaskan, what I'm trying to explain in this context is that if you are a teacher later on, you have to be able in competing with various kinds of distraction like what you have already questioned me. Jadi kita harus betul-betul mampu mengatasi distraksi seperti ini as a teacher, because I do believe that probably someday you will be a teacher and you have to compete with that kind of distraction. That's my answer, Bu Oce.
Pak, the last question, Pak.
Oh, masih ada.
Okay. the person, the audience is asking you about your personal opinions or your personal perspective on do you think that running online learning, especially through Zoom meeting, is optimal for the students and also for you yourself as the teacher?
Okay, Zoom. Yeah.
Yes, Pak.
If I were you, you are not only questioning about the Zoom, but also other applications. Yeah. Well, it depends. Yeah. I have already explained that there are many problems. Yeah. And one of the big problems that we are facing right now is the internet connection. Yeah. Internet connectivity. I'm afraid, or let's say if we compare with other regions, the internet is quite good. Yeah. But our situation or our context right now, especially in Manggarai Regency, the internet is very bad, I think. So talking about Zoom, well, in one side, it is effective if only the internet is good. And also if only the teacher can make use that kind of application in a very good way, using or utilizing good approach strategies and techniques, for example. So it might be more effective. Yeah. What we have done so far, Zoom is just like having a video conference, but actually there are still other ways that we can do regarding the use of Zoom, such as providing some video, for example, self-recorded video. Yeah. If the teachers are very creative in utilizing such kind of application, I think it will be more effective. And then on the other way around, if the internet connectivity is not good, and we as a teacher cannot make use that kind of application in a very good way, such as by using approach, techniques, or strategy, as I mentioned before, I think it will not be effective. Yeah. So talking about the effectiveness of using Zoom, I think there are still many variables that we can consider. So we cannot easily justify that Zoom is not effective, Zoom is not good, but it depends in from what point of view that you want to see, from what aspects that you see. If we see from the aspects of connection, internet connectivity, I think it's not effective. But from the point of view of method and strategy or technique used by the teacher in utilizing such kind of application, well, let's see whether it is really effective or not. It is very dependent. That's it. Thank you, Woche. I give it back to you. Hello? Hello, Buche, are you there? Hello? Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yeah, actually, we hear you. Actually, Iboche's connection is unstable, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a kind of challenge, right?
It's a kind of challenge.
Yeah. Okay, I go back to you, Boche.
Okay, actually, sir, Iboche's connection is really bad. So, I think if the questions already answered all, I think it's, oh my. Sorry, sir. The connection is really bad. I think we can Hello? Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Hello, yeah, hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Okay. Sir, sorry. The connection is really bad here. And okay, I think Iboche's connection is still unstable.
Yeah, it's okay.
And yeah, if all the questions are already answered, I think this is actually the last session of our seminar today. So, ladies and gentlemen, finally, we come to the last sessions of our seminar. And first of all, I would like to say many thanks to Prof. Aratini and Dr. Hieronymus, who have already shared us the brilliant ideas and knowledge. And hopefully what Prof. and also Pa Hiro have already shared us will be useful for us. And thanks to all the participants, lecturers, teachers, the students who have joined this webinar. And again, hopefully this webinar is beneficial for us all. On behalf of the committee, I do apologize for your inconvenience during the webinar. And thanks to all the committee who have handled this seminar, and may God bless we all. Before we leave the meeting or the seminar, I think it's better to take the pictures together. And please, all of the participants, switch the camera on. Boleh dihidupkan semua kameranya supaya bisa berfoto rias sedikit. Tapi jaringan tidak terlalu bagus. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and a second slide. Oke, sebentar, Bapak Ibu. Jaringannya sangat parah. Sorry for this. Okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And yeah. Attendance please. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. I think it's done. Oh my God.
Prof. Hartini, thank you very much.
Okay. Prof.
Hello, Pak Hieronymus. Nice to see you.
Ya Bu, makasih banyak
Thank
Bu
you.
sudah
Thank you so
sharing untuk
much,
kami
ya.
semua di sini.
Have a nice day to you all.
Ya,
Prof,
thank you Bu.
Sorry for your inconvenience, Prof. Jaringan kami di sini sangat parah. Terima kasih untuk teman-teman dari Undiksa dan juga dari sekolah-sekolah yang tadi sudah mengambil bagian. Saya sudah kirim tadi link presensinya di kolom chat. Oke, terima kasih.
Okay, stay safe. God bless you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Prof.
Have a good day. Let me leave. Thank you.
Boleh kita leave, Bu Olga?
Di link sertifikatnya mungkin bisa diisi dulu.
Nanti boleh, oh ya.
Pak
Iya,
Hiro,
Pak.
link sertifikat sama daftar hadir mohon diisi dulu di chat box. Ada.
Di chat box tadi, Pak. Oh, tunggu saya share lagi saja.
Bu Narfi, selamat siang. Ini jauh-jauh dari Jakarta.
Ini, terima kasih Pak Hiro. Maafkan jaringan kami, teman-teman.
Pesertanya lumayan banyak dari luar juga, Bu Olga.
Iya, Pak. Sangat luar biasa sekali.
Luar biasa kerja.
Oh, it's there already. I can talk. Hi, sir.
Halo Ibu Narfi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so glad to see all of you here, guys.
Oh my
Hi,
God,
Mr.
thank you
Hiro.
so much. How's the condition in Jakarta, Bu Narfi?
Now it's getting better. Even the before we cannot go here and there, but now like the mall and the public places is already open.
Oh, okay.
But now it's actually PPKM level 2.
Oh,
But we
okay.
still can go
Yeah.
to the mall and other public places.
And we're very glad to have you all. Yeah.
Yeah, that is why today when I know that you have seminar for today, I really like, I really want to join. I want to meet the teachers. Yeah,
Unfortunately, our connection was really bad. Ibu
it's
Narfi.
fine, it's fine. How's routing right now, Miss?
For the weather is quite good.
How's
But we
this COVID?
don't know in the afternoon because like what is that? Yeah, almost every day at 3 or 2, yeah, it's going to be rained.
I see.
Yeah.
How's this COVID, Miss? This COVID situation?
Actually, what is that? We don't really, what is that, feel bad. Yeah, here. Maybe because like every day we can yeah, meet with our friends, and then we can go to the traditional market or yeah.
As if there's no COVID, isn't it?
And now, you know, there are a lot of parties here. Wedding party,
I
and
see.
then yeah, we can enjoy it now.
Shall we leave? Mrs. Olga, excuse me.
Yeah.
I did my attendance. Shall I leave?
Oh yeah.
Yes. For your great job today, Propitiate for everyone.
Oh, thank you, sister.
Could you please get that? Wait.